Je vais juste commencer avec quelques mots. I've been getting questions about an individual that entered Canada and has been arrested in charges related to an attempt to cross the border for a terrorist plot. I can confirm that Mohammed Khan is a Pakistani national who entered Canada on May, or was issued a visa in May of 2023, and was given and entered Canada on the 24th of June of the same year, so 2023. This is all that I'll be commenting on this individual. Obviously, there are criminal charges pending. As politicians, as elected officials, in order to make sure the judicial process is not compromised, although we share the goals of the prosecutors in question, it's very important that we don't comment, and actually it's dangerous to comment any further. Any defense lawyer is looking at elected officials and their comments about this case, salivating at any comment that is made that could be seen as compromising the judicial process. This is something that any responsible politician needs to be aware of. It's highly careless of Pierre Poilievre and his team to be firing their mouths off again. Any defense attorney is looking at that and just chomping at the bit to be able to make that part of their process and perhaps even compromise the case. Mr. Poilievre has experienced prosecutors on his team. They should be counseling him to shut his mouth like any responsible politician in this case.
What does it say about your own process, though? I mean, this is the second potential terror attempt that somebody comes got and takes Canada. What would you say to Canadians more broadly about how concerned they should be about that process?
Well, first and foremost, this was a successful operation, and any security operation in a country like Canada is multifaceted, whether it's at the border or when it's in Canada and we have our police services that are acting responsibly and arresting these people as they gather the evidence. Catherine, Secretary Garland, Merrick Garland, contacted the Minister of Public Safety to congratulate our security forces for apprehending these individuals. I think our American partner would be highly disappointed to see elected officials firing their mouths off about and speculating about this case and its outcome. We owe it to Canadians to keep them safe, to actually let the process unfold. And again, as we share the objectives and the goals of the prosecution, we actually owe it to Canadians to be quiet about the facts and not speculating, and not speculate, and let the court court case run its course. We take any security breach and any entry into Canada very seriously, and there is a multifaceted way of being able to apprehend these individuals. Let's not be naive. A determined individual can gain access to this country, and then it's for the security services inside our country to apprehend this person if they commit a crime or if they're about to commit a crime, and that's exactly what happened. Our police forces did their jobs and arrested the individual, and we'll let the court case take its course. Mais vous présumez qu'on ne l'a pas déjà fait. Chaque individu qui vient ici, que ce soit comme étudiant, surtout que quand c'est un étudiant, doit passer la biométrie. Présumons pas qu'il y avait des carences sans avoir les faits, les preuves à l'appui. C'est clair qu'un individu ou un groupe d'individus qui n'ont pas nécessairement les meilleurs intérêts du Canada à cœur peuvent potentiellement entrer au sein du pays. Puis c'est ça la raison pour laquelle on a des forces policières qui font leurs recherches et puis dans ce cas-ci, qui ont très bien fait leur job en arrêtant ces individus. Oui, ça me concerne, ça concerne évidemment l'entièreté du gouvernement, mais on a un droit très important de réserve dans le cas d'un casier judiciaire qui est toujours ouvert, puis on se doit de ne pas se prononcer sur l'évolution du cas, justement parce que les gens, si jamais il y a un succès au niveau de du processus judiciaire, peuvent porter en appel si des politiciens sont prononcés par mes gardes de façon cavalière. Donc c'est ça ce qu'on fait. Puis ce que j'ai dit en anglais sur Pierre Poilievre, je le trouve hautement irresponsable. Il y a des gens qui ont été avocats dans leur temps au privé, qui sont des élus, qui devraient être conseillés de fermer sa gueule parce qu'ils risquent de compromettre le casier judiciaire, justement.
Vous avez annoncé plusieurs mesures sur votre industrie en matière d'immigration. Est-ce que ça va avoir un impact sur les migrations?
C'est décidé. On a une discussion à avoir au cabinet puis au caucus sur les niveaux d'immigration. Vous avez entendu le premier ministre très clairement se prononcer sur les taux de résidence permanente. est-ce qu'on continue, est-ce qu'on réduit de façon rationnelle? C'est une discussion qui est toujours ouverte, puis c'est pas quelque chose que je vais partager maintenant sur la place publique, mais je pense que comme pays, on se doit de penser puis de réfléchir ce qui est dans l'intérêt national, et ça passe par une discussion sur les taux d'immigration, que ce soit les résidents temporaires, dont on va parler en détail, ou la résidence permanente. Puis c'est une discussion qui est en train, c'est une discussion que j'ai eue ce matin avec notre caucus sur l'immigration qu'on va avoir aussi au caucus.
Ça fait longtemps aussi que vous imaginez mal voir les discriminations à la base. Là, est-ce que je comprends que vous êtes en train de dire que c'est une possibilité?
C'est une possibilité, mais l'important, c'est que quand les circonstances économiques ou autres changent, on se doit, comme gouvernement responsable, de s'ajuster, puis c'est justement ce qu'on regarde présentement.
I want to ask you about a case involving temporary foreign workers, specifically in Ottawa, with a construction company. They've been found in violation of labor laws by the Ontario Ministry of Labour for wage theft. This company hires these workers from Jamaica and a whole bunch of things not paying and that sort of thing. So we wanted to know, first of all, how will the federal government hold employers who exploit foreign workers to make sure that they are accountable for these kinds of practices?
Yeah, I mean, Mike, we have to crack down on outright fraud. We will be continuing to do that along with our provincial counterparts. It's clear, and we saw that even though I disagreed with some of the comments made by the UN Special Rapporteur in sort of the inflammatory language he used, some of the realities that he described do happen and do exist in the temporary foreign worker space, and it's something that we owe it to ourselves to fix and to right. There is wage on the margins, there is wage depressions and wage suppression, and it's something I think we need to attack head on. Again, if employers are not abiding by the law, they need to be prosecuted to the full extent of it.
Will these workers be subject to deportation, though? Because right now they've been fired from their jobs that were trying to unionize and getting their wages.
There are many programs to keep them in the country, notably so that they can testify in this case. And I also have a program within my department that gives them the ability to get, gives them the, let me finish, Rafi, that gives them the ability to be able to stay here on a longer basis. Again, under normal circumstances, as temporary foreign workers, they would have had to leave at some point, so this is not an opportunity for people to stay over and above the time that they were committed to staying. But again, if they are needed in this country for a variety of reasons, there are a number of programs that they can use, especially one that allows them to testify in the case so that the employers can be held to account. Rafi, sorry.
Just in English on immigration levels, about a year ago, your government used to say it's perhaps a little racist to even suggest that immigration levels are linked to the bad shape of the economy in Canada.
Well, I don't think we said it's racist to suggest that. I think what we said is that there is a tendency. People have been tendentious in their haste to link it entirely to immigration, and I think that still is the case. But it is also naive to ignore the fact that immigration volumes have impacted affordability, and as the economic circumstances change in this country, so does the posture of the government of Canada. Again, we can do this without calling each other bigots. We can do this in a context where we're actually having a rational discussion about the national interest of Canada and whether we need to reduce immigration levels, and if so, to what extent. Blaming everything on immigrants is exactly what it is, and I don't think it's right, because if it's not accurate and you try to solve the problem, you're not solving it by simply cutting down on immigration levels. You have to actually deal with other things, whether it's Airbnb, whether it's interest rates that weren't caused by immigration, whether it is the failure of successive governments to provide adequate housing at the provincial level or even at the federal level. Those are all issues that you cannot blame immigrants for. No one is crediting immigrants for bringing down the interest rates, but we did sort of, by the back door, some people directly start to attribute the increase in interest rates or affordability to immigrants. So we have to have a real conversation about it. David? I didn't hear the first part, David.
About the Pakistani national that was
Sure.
arrested. Can you give us information about the kind of visa that was issued to him?
He was on a student visa.
It was a student visa.
Yeah, he was granted a student visa in May of 2023, and he entered at Pearson Airport June 24th of 2023 that year.
And does that spark some particular concern about how student visas are granted then? In terms of
I'm not going to speculate on the various original ways that people have ill intentions towards Canada coming to this country, or whether they were developed while people were here. Again, that's speculation. I mean, we're always concerned about how people obtain their visas, particularly if it's through fraudulent means. I've taken a number of steps throughout the summer to turn the screws a bit on that process. But again, this is a criminal case. It's ongoing, and it's careless to speculate further. Laurence? Encore une fois, Laurence? Il faudrait lui poser des questions directement. Laura?
What is your message to Canadians who have reasonable concerns about the security of our immigration program?
Well, I think Canadians can be confident that that our security systems and apparatuses actually worked. We are constantly looking internally at what we can do to make sure Canadians continue to be safe. But again, no one can pretend and stand honestly in front of you and say that a well-determined actor can't come to this country. And that's why we have the security apparatuses that we have in this country. And in the two cases that you mentioned, Laura, our police did their jobs and the system worked.
Okay, hey guys, I don't think you have any questions. You asked all of them to Mark Miller. So, bonjour à tous, ça me fait plaisir de vous voir. So first and foremost, I've been a lot in my writing and doing a lot of door-to-door this summer, and what I heard a lot is people are very preoccupied with affordability issues, and we know that affordability issues are linked to what's going on in the world. We know we're dealing with 3 wars and lots of tensions, particularly in Asia. And so in that sense, my job as foreign minister is to defend Canada's interests and to bring much more peace and stability to the world. And to that end, this morning I spoke with the new foreign minister of Ukraine and with the chief of staff of President Zelensky, and we spoke about the very important peace formula that Ukrainians have been working on and that we're participating in. Donc en français. Mais ça me fait plaisir de vous voir aujourd'hui. Cet été, j'ai eu l'occasion de rencontrer plusieurs Québécois, plusieurs Canadiens, faire beaucoup de porte-à-porte. Et puis, ce qu'on entend aux portes, ce que les gens nous disent, c'est essentiellement que les gens trouvent que la vie coûte trop cher. Et donc, dans les circonstances, on sait qu'il y a beaucoup des enjeux liés au coût de la vie qui sont liés au fait qu'il y a 3 guerres présentement dans le monde, puis il y a beaucoup de tensions en Asie. Alors, mon boulot comme ministre des Affaires étrangères, c'est encore et toujours de protéger les intérêts du Canada, d'amener aussi un peu plus de paix et de stabilité dans le monde, ce qui a un impact nécessairement sur le coût des choses au pays, les coûts des services. Dans ce contexte-là, ce matin, j'ai parlé avec le nouveau ministre des Affaires étrangères de l'Ukraine et également avec le chef de cabinet du président Zelensky. Comme vous le savez, on travaille présentement avec les Ukrainiens sur une formule de paix, en anglais on dit peace formula, pour l'Ukraine. Et donc, ça me fait plaisir de répondre à vos questions dans ces circonstances. Alors, merci. Donc, premièrement, notre politique est claire. Depuis le 8 janvier dernier, il n'y a pas de nouveaux permis qui ont été émis pour l'envoi d'armes ou de composantes d'armes en Israël. Par la suite, j'ai demandé à mon ministère de faire une révision, un examen de tout ce qui était en place au niveau des permis existants. Cet été, j'ai suspendu une trentaine de permis existants pour poser plus de questions. Fait que ça, c'est la première chose. Deuxième chose, la politique est claire. Il n'y a pas d'armes ni de composantes d'armes qui vont se retrouver canadiennes, qui vont se retrouver à Gaza. Un point, c'est tout. Peu importe comment ils vont être envoyés directement par le Canada ou de façon indirecte, c'est pas pertinent. Ce qui est clair, c'est que la politique est ferme et donc notre objectif est de faire en sorte qu'il n'y ait pas d'armes ni de composantes canadiennes d'armes envoyées à Gaza et c'est pourquoi je suis en contact avec la compagnie General Dynamics. Yes, of course. Just a second. And yes, I'll just say it in English, American. So, first and foremost, our policy has been clear. Since January 8th, I have not accepted any form of arms export permits to be sent to Israel. And so following that, I asked my department to look into any existing permits of arms or parts of arms that could have been sent to Israel. Following that, I suspended this summer around 30 existing permits of Canadian companies, and we're asking questions to these companies. Meanwhile, as for the question regarding General Dynamics, our policy is clear. We will not have any form of arms or parts of arms be sent to Gaza, period. How they're being sent and where they're being sent is irrelevant. And so, therefore, my position is clear, the position of the government is clear, and we're in contact with General Dynamics.
L'arrivée de Mark Carney, est-ce que ça représente une menace pour vous, certains employés?
Absolument pas. J'ai eu des conversations avec lui hier encore. Ça fait longtemps que je connais Marc. Et puis l'objectif est de faire en sorte qu'on ait la meilleure équipe pour gérer l'économie canadienne. Comme je vous ai dit, ce que j'ai entendu cet été, c'est que les gens sont vraiment, vraiment préoccupés avec le coût de la vie coûte trop cher. Les gens veulent que leur facture d'électricité coûte moins cher. Ils veulent s'assurer aussi que leur facture d'épicerie coûte moins cher. Puis ils veulent s'assurer aussi qu'ils aient accès à un bon emploi, puis que leur famille ait accès à un bon emploi. Donc, contente qu'ils soient là. Qu'est-ce que j'ai entendu sur mon chef? C'est quoi votre question? Aux portes? Bien, je pense que les gens, on sent qu'il y a une anxiété, on sent qu'il y a une frustration. Puis moi, c'est sûr que je suis ministre des Affaires étrangères. Donc, je vois ce qui se passe au pays, puis je vois aussi partout à travers le monde. Les gens sont préoccupés. On n'a jamais vécu autant de changements en une génération. Donc, ça crée un inconfort, ça crée une frustration. Puis, je comprends, parce que je le sais que le coût de la vie coûte trop cher. On le voit, on a juste à faire notre épicerie. Et donc, dans les circonstances, nous, là, la meilleure stratégie, c'est de faire en sorte d'être là, de rencontrer les gens où ils sont, d'être là où ils sont. Puis nous, notre but, comme gouvernement, c'est de gouverner. Fait que là, on a mis en place des programmes super importants pour réduire le coût de la vie. Faire en sorte qu'au final, là, bien, les gens vont recevoir de l'argent pour quand ils vont au dentiste, quand ils vont avoir accès, quand ils vont vouloir acheter des médicaments comme l'insuline, la contraception, quand ils vont vouloir aussi faire en sorte d'envoyer leur enfant à la garderie. Fait que c'est des façons pour nous de trouver des solutions aux problèmes qui sont très, très réels, qui sont essentiellement que la vie coûte trop cher. Yes, Mary Kay. Just a second. Yes, Mary Kay.
Convince your own caucus that you guys can still win. Alexander Magda said yesterday, you can't win in the next election with Justin Trudeau off the ticket. I mean, before you convince Canadians, don't you have to convince people inside?
Well, of course, and we're doing that.
So what's the message? What do you say to them to convince them that the polls are not what they are, or that they're so changeable?
You know, Mary Kay, what I heard this summer was Canadians don't want elections. They just want us to do the job. They just want us to govern. And that's what we're doing. We're governing. We're taking tough decisions. Why? Because times are tough. And so, wait, let me finish. I'm speaking. So, the reality is, like I said in French, is we know that cost of living is too expensive, that people are frustrated with it. So what do? We do everything to reduce the cost of things and services. So that's why we have dental care. That's why we're working on a Medicare plan. That's why we have also affordable housing. And that's also why we're really working on childcare. These are all things that the government are doing. And good news, we have new people now that will be there to help us to make sure that we have a very strong economy at the same time that the middle class is protected. Yes.
Demonstrate right now that your party can still hold seats on the island of Montreal and Quebec. If you can't do that, I don't know what message to send.
I'm convinced we will win. Sorry, David.
Sorry, Laurence asked about Mark Carney. You responded en français.
Yeah. Well, I said, I know Mark Carney. I've known him for some time now, and we had a good conversation yesterday. I think it's good news that he's going to be there to help us with economic issues. C'est sa décision, Louis. C'est pas à moi à lui dire, là, sincèrement. Moi, je suis toujours contente quand il y a du nouveau monde qui se présente en politique. Surtout pour le Parti libéral, bien entendu. Oui.
Going off my colleague's question, you said you can win the election in Toronto, St. Paul,
We're working on making sure that we get the confidence of electors, voters, may be, of course, in Manitoba, but I've been working specifically also in Montreal. Yeah.
Le fait que le parti s'appelle à M. Carney, est-ce que ça peut envoyer un signal d'un certain pourcentage vers plus de rigueur dans les dépenses, par exemple? Et est-ce que c'est pas un peu un désaveu ou un signal que vous avez besoin d'un nouveau souffle sur ce que vous êtes en train de faire?
Moi, je pense que ça fait 9 ans maintenant qu'on est au gouvernement. Ça fait 9 ans que je suis ministre. J'ai vu plusieurs différents conseillers au cours des 9 dernières années venir nous aider. Donc, c'est une stratégie, c'est une approche qu'on a eue au cours des 9 dernières années qui marche. Alors, c'est de bonnes nouvelles. Merci beaucoup.